Hello everybody and welcome back for another YouTube video here on my channel. And today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite writers in comics who's done all of these books that I have, plus plenty more of course. I'm talking about none other than Brian Wood. Unfortunately we don't see stuff from Brian Wood anymore due to there was some allegations about him that he made, and I don't know much about them. I can't comment about them. They were a couple of years ago, and we pretty much haven't seen anything of Brian Wood since. But I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the works that I have of him and the works that he has that I enjoy. Obviously, this is what I have of him, and he's done plenty of other stuff that I haven't checked out yet, but I would love to check out at some point. But Brian Wood is one of my favorite writers. He is a bit of a controversial writer, I suppose, because he does a lot of political stuff. He does a lot of historical stuff. But I think he's also very poignant and just really, really good stuff. And he always seems to team up with great artists as well when he does his books. So let's jump into it. Let's jump into some stuff that is just that I have one single issue or one single book of. And the first thing is Star Wars. He actually did some Star Wars work. You know, he hasn't done a lot of superhero stuff. He has obviously done superhero stuff. He's also done Star Wars. He's done like X-Men as well. I don't have any of his X-Men stuff, but obviously this was during the Dark Horse period. But this is when Marvel started producing the Epic Collections. I just picked it up because I've had this book for a long freaking time. I picked it up just because it was Brian Wood. I have not read it at all, I'm sorry to say, but picked it up just because it was, simply because it was Brian Wood. So this is the Epic Collection, the Rebellion, or Epic Star Wars Legends, the Rebellion, blah blah blah, Epic Collection Volume 1. Let's see what this collects. Star Wars Empire 7, 14, 16 through 18, Star Wars Vader's Quest 1 through 4, and Star Wars from 2013 1 through 12. As always, the Epic Collections are thick books, but very nice. Next up is another series that I only have the first trade of. It's The Massive. I would love to get I think they've done library editions of these books. And I want to get either the library editions or more trades. Just get this series. It's a very interesting series about this ship called The Massive. It has some really nice artwork. Let's see if we can yeah. Christian Donaldson, Gary Brown, and Dave Stewart, along with Brian Wood. This book. It's really nice artwork. It was a really cool story, and I just didn't pick up more. No particular reason that I didn't, but just gone away from. I really enjoy reading, comic books that are not superhero comic books. So this obviously fits perfectly with that. So I definitely want to get in more to The Massive, but another great series by Brian Wood. And talking about series that I haven't read is DMZ. I don't have any books about DMC, but really looking forward to, or I want to get into DMC as well, but I haven't. Here's a lesser known book by Brian Wood. It's called The Tourist. So Brian Wood and Toby Cypress does this book. This is a standalone graphic novel called The Tourist. About this guy who comes to a small town, into this family where he kind of hides out from people that are chasing him. And I don't want to give away too much. It's black and white. Hey, I picked it up because it was Brian Wood. I knew nothing about this. It's as I said, it's a standalone book. The artwork can be clean. It's simple, clean, but I love how they use the shadowing, the black and white. But it's a very cool story, and if you can find it, pick it up. It's one of his lesser known books, but it's a good one. Now, as you may know, Brian Wood has he loves history, and for whatever reason he really loves Viking history. And being me, that I'm from Scandinavia, I'm from Sweden, it falls naturally for me. And one of the Viking series that he's done, he did for Image, and it was Black Road. By the way, sorry, this one, the Tourist, I should say, is from Image. The Massive is from Dark Horse. Black Road, 2 volumes from Image. Let's see, I think this is volume 1, right? Yes, this is volume 1. Viking story, I haven't read it in a long time. I'm sorry if I can't describe the books too well, because these books I have read, but I haven't read them in the longest time. But it was, I had read previously the Viking books that he did. I'm gonna get to that in a while here. So when he was doing this one, I just had to have it, and I like the artwork. Let's see the team on this. It's Gary Brown again, got Dave McCaig and Steve Wands. So it's a Viking Story, Volume 2 here. Okay, talking about, but I recommend it. It's really cool. It has a really cool artwork. It's violent, as you can see. I'm sorry that I can't remember the story. One that I can remember the story a bit about is another book from Image, Starve. That's volume 2, here's volume 1. Another one of the lesser known books, Starve, is about this character right here, who's a chef and competing in like a Master Chef, Iron Chef competition, where they have to cook with like the most unusual things you could think of. And he cooks for his daughter, whatever. It sounds like a manga. I'm sorry in the description, but it's kind of very adult, and it tells us very, very nice story. So Ryan Wood, obviously, along with Daniel Zezelj and Dave Stewart. You can take a look at the artwork. It's just, future, dystopian future, sort of say. This Iron Chef thing is very, very big in this world, and he gets pulled in to do this competition here, just for his daughter. You have to cook with some unusual components, so to say. 2 volumes of this as well. It's another book. I don't know if these books are still in print. From Image, so... Oh, Jesus, turn that. Once again, it's a very, very cool story. Really enjoyed it. Another book that is non-superhero. Now I got interference from my cat. Okay, moving on with more historical influences, and this is once again Dark Horse. We're moving back to Dark Horse. Rebels Volume 1 and 2. It's Brian Wood and Andrea Muti. Let's see here. We have volumes 1 and 2. There's volume 2. Here's volume 1. So obviously this takes place during the American Civil War. This is great. It's fascinating. This is really I think it's a hidden gem. And I think Brian Wood has done several hidden gems. But this is definitely one of them. This should go on to the hidden gem section. This is a thick book as well. Volume 1 here. So Rebels, Volume 1. Sorry, I've been so under the weather, and I've been sick for the last... I've been bedridden for the last like 4 days. Completely bedridden and not been able to do anything. And I did not have COVID, just I was really, really sick. So I want to get to that after I've done this video here. But so it obviously tells a story here about this family. I want to get into the Civil War and all of that. Hey, you get a bit of a historical lesson as well, because that's something that Brian Wood is very good at telling. It's not too historically incorrect either, so I like that when you don't, make up history about that sort of stuff. Volume 2 still with Andrea Moody. It's about this ship they're building. Still Civil War. Yeah, if you want historical things, if you want books about the Second World War, Jesus, independence, the American Civil War, the right for the Independence War, whatever, read these books. Rebels. It's definitely on my list for hidden gems. Okay, we're just gonna move over these books right here. Move on to a series that I'm so sad only got 2 volumes because it just feels so unfinished. Bricksland. Bricksland was so freaking good. My God, was this a good book. It should have gotten more than just 2 volumes. It felt like it could still be ongoing today. There was talks that they were turning it into a television show, and it would have fit perfectly on like AMC or HBO. Unfortunately, won't happen now, but it would have fit perfectly, and especially with the climate of the world today, and it would be even more perfect now. So it's about this family that lives off kilter, sort of say. They don't want to listen to the government. They want to be free and independent, and live on their own. It's like whatever, Ruby Ridge. Remember Ruby Ridge, which was very sad, but it's like that. They want to be independent, and they don't want to have anything to do with the government. So it builds intrigue with that. And here's you have your Mac Shader, Lou Luthridge, and Tula Lute. It's a creative team for this book, this series. It's so good. Goddamn, it was good. I love this, and I was like waiting and hoping and praising for this continuation of the book, and it didn't happen. And here's the head of the family and the wife of the family. He's in jail, and she kind of cuts him loose, and he doesn't like it, and she now becomes the head of the family. And the government does get involved. Oh, I'm sorry. The government, of course, gets involved in it. Obviously, not superhero stuff at all. Nothing to do with superheroes. But goddamn, is it good. The artwork is really nice, too. Yeah, this certainly would have fit perfectly as a very serious television show. But unfortunately, here's volume 2. Never made into a television show. This volume 2 is about this group of people here. I think they wander into the Bricksland, restricted area. And they sort of get kidnapped, but not at the same time, and it becomes this conflict. And as I said, the government gets involved, and yeah, it turns really, really good, and it's very intense. They should have done this to a television show. They should have kept this going. Man, I'm so sad it only got 2 volumes. What can you do? It's a brilliant book. Bricksland, one of the another hidden gem. Okay, talking about Viking books. Yeah. The 7 volumes of Northlanders. Seven trades. Now this has been released in thicker volumes. I think 3 thick volumes. I have one of those actually. I would have loved to see it get the hardcover treatment, and it didn't get the hardcover treatment, but you got the thicker epic collection. But so 7 trades in total. Not a continuous story, but it's short and different stories throughout the series. And this is illustrated by David Giafelice, I would say. And it's short stories, it's individual stories, so you can actually pick up whichever trade, but obviously, when this came out, I fell in love with it, and I was waiting for each and every trade to come out. This one has the illustration by Ryan Kelly. Illustrations, the artwork is by Ryan Kelly in this book. But this is it's an easy read, which is nice. That's volume 2. Volume 3 has Dean Ormston, Vasilis Lolos, Daniel Zeljic, and yeah. So you can see the artwork actually changed because they're different artists. Volume 4. Leandro Fernandez is the artist in this one. So this was Brian Wood's first, Viking work. Foray into Vikings. It's not his last, obviously Black Road, and there's one more typical Viking that I'm going to show you. Let's go off to volume 5 with Carter Bocelli, Fiona Staples, and Becky Cloonan. How about that? That's very, very nice. this. Volume 6, which has Mary Churchland, Simone Gain, Matthew Woodson. This is mature stuff, obviously. It's not for kids. It's violent. But you can see the artwork is it's consistent. It may vary a little bit due to the artist, but overall it's very consistent artwork. It's very good. And let's go to the seventh and final volume, where you have Declan Shelvey and Daniel Zezou again. Also Paul Asakeda. Sorry for the pronunciations if I'm getting them wrong here. That's the final volume. Another underrated series that don't get a lot of praise, not enough, not as much as it should. I think it's a really damn good show for a show. So it's this is not Dark Horse, it's Vertigo. When you still had Vertigo, but talking about Dark Horse, of course, have to talk about this run on Conan. Being the huge Conan fan I have the entire run of Conan over at Dark Horse, and came in here for this run. So his run started with volume 13. And you had Becky Cloonan, James Heron, and Dave Stewart. I love these books. I love Conan. I read all of it. Just love Conan. But I love these physical books. These hardcover, this is soft. I had like the first 13 volumes in soft cover, but in the end I got the hardcovers. But anyway, I'm gonna just show you here. These soft covers are like hard paper, like these thick paper, the covers, and same thing with the pages themselves are a bit thicker. They're still glossy, but they're thick, so it makes the book heavier and thicker than like a normal trade, even though they're the same size, because this is much lighter. It has this has the papery newspaper paper. This has the glossy paper, but it's so much thicker because it's heavier paper stock. It's just better quality because Dark Horse produces better books. Right. Let's take a look at one of the hardcovers. This was volume 14, right? Yep, volume 14. You can take off this dust jacket. It's not going to show you anything. It's just going to be that classic Conan logo. This is Hyboria, right? Good. Nice. There. Can move in here and see all this nice stuff. It's really clean. Nice artwork. Now, if you want to read Conan, let's see, it's still Declan Shelvey, let's see, this Eolos, Becky Cloonan, and Dave Stewart. If you want to read good Conan stuff, if you want to get into Conan, if you want to start with Conan, get the Dark Horse run. You can start with volume 0, actually, and then move on. There's 22, I want to say, 22, 23 volumes in total of Conan at Dark Horse. Now, obviously, they are releasing them. Marvel is releasing them in Epic collections. You can get them easily. I think a lot of these books are out of print or going out of print. You can obviously get the omnibuses, the giant size Conan, the King Conan, all those types of books, and just collect it that way. But this is the way I had them. Very nice pictures here, just very nice full covers, so to say. So he did 1, 2, 3, 4 volumes of Conan. Final one here with Paul Asaqueta, Riccardo Barcelli, Leandro Fernandez, and Dave Stewart. You see, he does a lot of work with the same people, which is good because then you keep it consistent with the artwork and when you're doing the story as well. So, but Conan, if you want to get into Conan, read the Dark Horse stuff. At the same time, the stuff they're doing over at Marvel right now, I've only read like the first volume when they were doing the new Conan stuff, which is good. But if you want to read the really good stuff, get into the Dark Horse stuff. I really recommend it. It's tremendous. I've loved every minute of it. I've loved every book of it. Okay, let's get back to Vikings. Let's continue with Dark Horse. And with that, we get into Sword Daughter, the 3-volume hardcover set here. There's 1, 2, and 3. No, as you can see, there's no dust jacket, which I prefer because I don't like dust jackets. So it's Brian Wood, Mac Shader with Jose Villarueba and Nate Piecos. I love this style of book. So it's about this young girl who has a long lost dad, not really close to each other, and she doesn't speak. And it's about their growing story, basically, life in the Viking Age. Reminds me a bit of Northlanders, which it should, and it's a violent book, but damn good. They did not release this in softcover, they just released the hardcovers, so that's tremendous. And they were 3 volumes and 3 beautiful volumes, so pick these up. I don't think they will be releasing like a single volume hardcover of this. Obviously now Dark Horse have disassociated from Brian Wood. So there's not going to be any new stuff. But beautiful books, looks great. As you can see, the spine looks very unanimous, look the same, and I love that. That's the type of small. The final book I want to show you is the biggest book I have with Brian Wood, and it's Alien Defiance. It's the library edition. Brian Wood, Tristan Jones, Stephen Thompson, Tony Berseccini, Carlo Buccellini, Eduardo Francisco, and Dan Jackson. No dust jacket. Once again, I'm not a fan of dust jackets, so don't mind it. Really cool cover. You get the spine here. You get the back. So you can see that he, Brian Wood can actually span his horizons quite a bit, from chef story to Vikings to Civil War to Conan and aliens in a runaway story. He does a lot of different stuff. Obviously done like Demo and DMC, and he's done X-Men and other stuff as well. So he can do a lot of stuff. We'll see when we'll see. We'll see when we'll see him again, sort of say. Yeah, very cool book. Happy to have this. Anyway, I said I've been sick. I've been bedridden for like 4 days, and I've been totally out. I did not have COVID. But I'm getting frustrated with the Swedish government. I'm going to do a little bit of a rant here. They released all restrictions. They took away all restrictions yesterday for everything. They took away every restriction there is, except for personnel at seniors care centers and hospitals. They still have to use restrictions, but everything else has been released, and including even if you have tested positive for COVID, you can go to work, which is, to me, man, that's so stupid. You can have COVID and you can go to work, so you can infect other people with COVID. I mean, that's to me, that's irresponsible. But hey, the government, Swedish government, does what it does. And everybody has their own opinion, and everybody has the right to their own opinion when it comes to COVID. But to me, it's irresponsible from the Swedish government to just let everything go. You have COVID, okay, who cares? Go to work, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. I just get angry with this sort of stuff. And I'm sorry this took this little side rant. But yeah, I'm really sorry for that. I just got a little angry with our Swedish government for releasing everything when we're in a freaking pandemic, and they just decided to release all restrictions. And even if you have COVID, you can still go to work and infect other people. Anyway, I hope you liked this review of my collection of Brian Wood books. I hopefully will be back with a video next week when I get movie that I'm waiting for, so I can do a whole video. I have like 8 movies to show off. But give me a thumb up, leave a comment, and I'll be back in hopefully about a week. Until next time, bye everybody.